Okay, I am so pumped for February because I am working with JW Boot Company on an enormous giveaway event. So I'm going to be looking at 3 different pairs. We're starting off with this pair of denim blue full quill ostrich boots, and then on February 28th, during a Boots and Ballads live stream, there will be 3 different winners who will get to pick their own cowboy boots. Yeah, we're giving away 3 pairs of JW Boot Company cowboy boots this month. So, what are we waiting for? Let's get into looking at these denim blue full quill ostrich cowboy boots, and stick around because you're going to want to know how to enter to win your own pair. So Blake at JW Boot Company was so excited to send me a pair of boots. He sent me this pair of denim blue full quill ostrich boots, and this is not how the box usually looks. He sent me his quote-unquote floor model. So this experience is not what you would get if you ordered a pair of boots from JW Boot Company. So let's get these full quill ostrich boots out and give them a good look over. I'm so excited. JW Boot Company in the house. Okay, so like I said, this is an example boot that Blake at JW Boot Company would show potential clients. So you're gonna have to give this the benefit of the doubt if you notice anything out of the ordinary. This has been thrown around in the back of a car, handled quite a bit by several different people, but it gives us a look into what JW Boot Company is making. One of the things that JW Boot Company is really good at right now is colors. So if you look at their website, you will notice blues, reds, greens, whites, purples even, like these wine colors. It's really cool, all of the colors that they are doing. I would have never pursued a blue boot before this channel, but you guys have encouraged me to try more things, get out of my comfort zone, and this is a really beautiful boot. I'm so happy that a lot of you have been pushing me in that direction. Now, one of the things that JW Boots focuses on is a handmade quality. So where other cowboy boot companies will dye their leathers like 10 times to get a very crisp and bright color, if they do choose to do colors at all. Colors are really hard, apparently. JW Boot Company does not dye their leathers that much. So on this boot, you can actually see a small discrepancy in the shades of blue between the counter and the vamp. I would prefer to have the same color all the way around on a boot, but I can appreciate the fact that they're giving it less dyeing to make it more of a natural look. The ostrich is just like ostrich should be, very soft, very supple, very flexible. I absolutely love the lightness that you get from an ostrich skin, whether it be the full quill or the smooth ostrich. It is a great leather, and this is no different. We also have a single stitched welt on a beautiful medium round toe. Also a leather sole with brass pegs and a leather stacked heel as well. On the inside, we have a very nice black leather lining. That's all the way through, even to line the vamp. And as an insole, we have a little bit of foam with some leather on top. Here on the shaft, we have a little bit different kind of stitching. Now, Blake talked to me on the phone about this, and he said that this is just a little bit different because when he did the traditional stitching method, it made this shaft too stiff for him. I mean, that's what stitching in the shaft is supposed to do anyways. It's supposed to keep the shaft a little bit stiff to keep it from falling over. And as you can see, this is sort of already falling over here, but it is super soft at the same time. This stitching is all done by hand, and you can tell because there are several imperfections in the lines it just looks more handmade, hand-built. It's not perfect. Up here in the pull straps is where you can tell the most, just because the stitching is just a little bit off. Like, you can see it sort of distort. It's not a perfect circle. I can understand why somebody would be turned off from that, but it's a personal preference. Like, do you want perfect lines? Do you want machine stitched? Or do you want some human aspects, some human imperfections in your cowboy boots? So this boot reminds me that a human actually worked on this pair right here. All right, let's try this boot on. Whew, that's a good looking boot. Jeez. All right, so it's a little bit big. So as you can see, like, I got some wrinkles there on the side. So I'm gonna put in these little leather inserts that I have for some other boots, but the insole does feel very nice as is. Really nice, actually. Kind of similar to a lot of things that's coming out of Leon. Very similar to the Yeehaw Cowboy insoles. Not quite as soft, but very, very similar. Okay, so now I have the thin leather inserts in there, and I am filling out the boot just a little bit more. It feels a little bit nicer. It's still a little bit sloppy looking, but that's okay. That's not a big deal. We're still gonna be able to put this boot to the test, even though it is just a smidgen wide for me. It still looks great. Wow. Jeez. I would have never thought to wear a blue boot before, but this is actually really growing on me quite a bit. I like the look of this. And it kind of reminds me of the black cherry color, because I feel like it could go with a bunch of different styles, a bunch of different colors, a bunch of different kinds of pants. Like, it can be a more casual boot or a more formal boot, depending on what you want to wear. Maybe it can go with browns and blacks and a whole bunch of different kinds of colors, and I really appreciate that from a boot like this. Black cherry can go with everything. Can denim blue go with everything? Let me know down in the comments. All right, let's see how this boot feels and acts after some extended wear. Coming at you from the International New England Auto Show here in Boston, and I'm pumped to give these JW Blue Ostrich some extended tests. Let's get into it. I want to kind of find some exotic cars to match up with this exotic boot. Let's see what we can find. I'm really liking all these blue vehicles, blue trucks, blue McLarens with the blue boots. After a great day of testing out these boots at the New England International Auto Show, I think it's time to talk to Blake from JW Boot Company about these boots. I am with Blake from JW Boot Company. Thank you so much for joining me today, Blake. And I also want to say thank you for your generous giveaway this month. I really appreciate it, and I know everybody else does as well.
Jeremiah, thanks for having me.
I'm wondering if you could kick us off with an origin story of how you got started in selling boots online and take us away from there.
Sure, that's a great question. So my background is in professional golf. I've played a little bit. I've worked in the kind of the business club side of it. While I was doing that, I kind of started a side business where I was buying overstock of golf shoes and turn around and selling them online. And I actually built a pretty decent business doing that. But some frustrations I had with that is I was at the mercy of whatever overstock there might be. I might have a large one, a size 11, and not be able to provide a size 9.5. Growing up in Texas, I've always been a big boot enthusiast, always had boots that I've worn. And also part of my life, I grew up in Mexico, and the area in Mexico where I grew up was very close to León. León is another capital of the world, boot manufacturer, capital of the world. Being very familiar with that market and that industry, I decided, maybe the boot industry is something I want to get into. And that's kind of how it started.
I love the fact that you are doing so many colors. I think that's part of your niche as far as the direct-to-consumer cowboy boot market is concerned. These colors look great. Could you tell us a little bit about why you got into colors and the process with which these leathers take color?
I like colors to start with. Maybe that's from my golf background, but golfers aren't shy about the crazy colors they wear. So
yeah, that's very
blue,
true.
The white. So I always appreciate that. Your studies used to show that growth in the boot industry wasn't about color. I think that's changing. I think people are really looking for colors now, and so I'm happy to take it on. But also another issue is I think because colors are hard to repeat the exact color every time, I think a lot of manufacturers don't want to get involved with it. You see your standard colors of brown and black, and black can come out a different shade and still look black, or brown can come out a different shade and still look brown. But some of your blues and greens and even reds for that matter, they come out a different shade. They're a little bit different looking. And to explain why a color would come out a different shade, so we're dealing with real skin here. And the pigmentation of every skin is different. Even from one ostrich to the next ostrich, the starting point of the hide is different. And so the way that the color is absorbed, the finished product is going to be different from the next one. Matching it is almost very difficult. Same thing with Cayman. Your Cayman's darker hides in your ostrich. And a lot of customers tell me that their boot will look one color, in the sunlight, another color in the shade. Or from day to day it changes, and it's a look I love.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that going from inside the car show to outside where it was cloudy. You could definitely tell how the colors change. Let's move into talking about the stitching that you use here. This is different than a lot of other manufacturers. Could you tell me about the process and why this looks different from other manufacturers?
I've actually got the same kind of color boot as you were just showing, but this is in my Cayman. So,
wow.
Yeah. And so this is my denim blue in the Cayman, and you can see that there's almost a black tint to it, and that's just the kind of the natural coloring of the Cayman absorption with the denim blue. But our stitches, all of our stitching is hand done. A couple of things that you'll notice is that the thread is a little bit bigger than your laser stitching. We can line up more rows of thread together. That's always a big indication of hand stitching. And then the color is more vibrant, and I think the color is more vibrant because our thread that we use is a little bit larger. One thing about the hand stitch boots is that we can't come to a stop. You can't, take it out, tie a little knot, start a new thing. That wouldn't look good. Well, let's say we start on the inside, we finish on the outside, and then we've got to get to another pattern over here. You will see a piece of thread go right across to that other pattern, and that's because it's hand stitched and it's a continuous thread.
You use goat for your shaft leather, right?
We do. Goat skin's very soft.
Can you tell me a little bit about why you chose to go with a more handmade facility to make your boots rather than a factory that used more CNC laser machines to do different parts of the boot?
So I mentioned earlier that I spent part of my life living in Mexico. Well, the reason why I was there is my dad manufactures tile, and his tile factories are all handmade products, and hand painted, hand cut, hand molded, and so he kind of goes through the same process as me, where repetition of colors is difficult. If there's a design on it, from afar, every design will look the same, but when you get up close, you realize that one leaf may stick out a little farther than the next leaf, or whatever it is that's being designed. And there's a handmade aspect to it. It's something that I've always found is beautiful. People that enjoy handmade products, they understand that, and they find it as beautiful.
Yeah, and it brings a different sort of spirit and feeling to a cowboy boot when it's handmade and it has those human imperfections. Awesome. Thank you so much, Blake, for spending this time with me today. We're going to have 2 more videos where we talk to you about this. So let's cut it off here and pick it up on the next video. Thanks again for partnering with me for this giveaway in February, Blake.
Jeremiah, I appreciate it. What you're doing for the boot industry is wonderful. Lots of love from our company. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, so let's wrap things up with my final thoughts about this denim blue full quill ostrich cowboy boot from JW Boot Company. Guys, I had a blast wearing this boot. I was kind of addicted to it for a while there just because it felt so good. The ostrich leather is so supple, so soft, exactly what I would want from a ostrich leather, plus the color of it changed a little bit when I was going from different lighting. So it looks different when it's cloudy, when it's sunny, when I was in the car show with all of the fluorescent lighting, from when I'm inside and it's just like regular warm house lighting. And it gives this boot sort of a fun personality. This boot is also just a little bit louder than average. It's light, but yet the leather that is used on the sole has that distinctive clip-clop that comes from a lot of cowboy boots, and I know a lot of you out there like that sound. If you're not so interested in that sound, then I'm sure you could put a sole saver on this and sort of get rid of all sound together, but just know that they are a touch louder than average, which doesn't bother me. I don't care either way, but some of you guys might not like that extra tension that comes from a louder boot. It does turn heads, just so you know, but turning heads towards a boot like this with this color is not such a bad thing, I gotta be honest. As I mentioned in my first impression, it was just a touch big. I did have to fit in a leather insert so that I could fill out that space. Now, the extra space mainly comes in the instep. The instep in a JW Boot Company boot is just a touch higher. So if you have high insteps out there, you might fit perfectly into a JW boot. There are a couple of things that I would have liked to see different about this boot. The first and biggest is I would have loved for these blues to actually match. The blue on the vamp does not match the blue on the counter, and it's just a little bit distracting. Now, I know Blake said that it is very difficult for blues and other colors to be taken with consistency in leathers, but still, I feel like I would have just liked them to be closer in color. I would have liked them to match a little bit more. So it's just a little bit of a disappointment to me. It doesn't please my eye very much, and since I started this video, I've gotten to look at several more pairs of JW cowboy boots, and this is the only place where there is that inconsistency. But there is another area I'm not completely sold on: the hand stitching in the shaft. And not all JW boots come like this. There are several different kinds of styles that you can have in the shaft of your cowboy boot, but this one in particular I was a little worried because it is looser that it would come unraveled a little bit easier, and that seems to be happening. So there are a few areas in this boot where I'm noticing it coming loose, the stitching here. I'm not completely sold on the fact that it is durable and the same quality that we get from maybe the machine stitched or the tighter stitched shaft designs. I'm giving away 3 pairs of Cowboy boots, so there's going to be 3 different winners for the JW Boot Company giveaway this month. All you gotta do to enter is 1, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and 2, visit the link in the description, click that, and fill out the form with your email, and I got a couple more questions so that I can email you if you win. So, that's all. Subscribe and then fill out the form at the link in the description, and then on Friday, February 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern, we're gonna be doing another Boots and Ballads live stream giveaway, and I'm going to be announcing each of the 3 winners live on air while playing some music and talking boots. I am so pumped for February. Huge thanks to JW Boot Company for partnering with me for this giveaway and the videos that we have coming for the rest of February. Thank you so much for watching today, and I will see you next time. Peace. You can get a personality fix with these Denim Blue Ostrich. They'll give your spirits a lift today, yeah. Alright, my name is Jeremiah Craig. Thank you so much for watching today. I will see you next time. Don't forget to enter to win a pair of JW Boot Company Cowboy boots this month. Peace.